Shalom, everybody. How are you?
How's it going? I know Hope and I haven't been on the live streams, and so we wanted to do this video to address all of the things that were talked about on Dr. Phil for the many, many people that are calling us, emailing us, and commenting. This is for you. And this is also for everyone who continuously makes up lies.
Yep.
And we've been very patient. Mom's been very, very patient. She's let it all go, just told us to move along, let everybody say whatever they want to say, and that time has expired. So we felt like it was time that we called people out because we're not going to allow the lies to continue. We're going to show you the voice notes. We're going to show you the text messages. We're going to call them out by name. We're going to tell you the real story and what really happens and who Mom really is. So for anybody who didn't see the Dr. Phil special.
Most people did.
Which most people did. There's a 2-part special for what reason, I'm not sure. But the first part of the show that did air today is what we're going to start with addressing. And it's fascinating to start with because obviously it was Mom's Earth family who contacted Dr. Phil, by the way, for everyone asking. They contacted Dr. Phil to be on the show, probably for attention. Mom agreed because she was like, well, I'll just tell my truth and, I don't know. She's very open with those things. We're fully transparent. She didn't see it as, we weren't going into it feeling like it was going to be what it was, where they were going to manipulate and the whole thing. We knew it was kind of a reality show, but, we didn't know that to the extent to which it was going to be. So Mom spoke her truth, but we're going to tell you the full truth and what they didn't allow us to say on the show. So the first thing
I'm trying to see where you're starting out with.
So the first thing they talked about, was the cult thing. Obviously, that's their favorite trigger word.
The go-to line.
And I'll read you a quote that I posted today because I feel that it perfectly sums up the definition of a cult, which, by the way, culture comes from the root word cult. Keep that in your heart. So this is a Terence McKenna quote, and Terence McKenna's in the field. We love you. And
Terence.
He said, "We are caged by cultural programming. Culture is mass hallucination. And when you step outside the hallucination, you see it for what it is worth." So cult really defines most people in society, humanity as a whole. They live under cult expectations, societal pressures, religious groupings. They're programmed since the day they were born to believe whatever their parents and their community believes, and they follow it blindly. That is a cult.
All right, and then the next thing that was brought up during the show was abandoning her children. So that's been a go-to line for going on 3 years now, is that Mom abandoned her children. Obviously, on the show, Mom's family does back that up and says that Mom's kids want nothing to do with her. The usual story of just Mom's relationship with her children. So this was 14 years ago that Mom left. All of her children are older. They're all adults. She did see her older son at some point, which is mentioned. And even recently, they did connect while Mom was in Hawaii, which was not mentioned, that he did reach out and contact her. So these are just like little pieces that are being missed, but it just shows the unawareness of what is actually going on in Mom's reality that they don't know about. They don't know the full story. I mean, you can even listen to Linda. What did she say? She hasn't talked to Mom in 1.5 years.
Not true, Linda. We have many messages from Linda on the back end of our Facebook. Mom has many messages from Linda. She's been on our streams probably almost every day for the past few months. And Linda and Mom have spoken many times within the last few months. I don't know if I can find the messages here because they were from a moment ago, but her sister Tara also contacted us. So that whole thing that they haven't spoken in 1.5 years, not true.
Nope.
They have spoken multiple times recently in the past few months, And mom had no awareness that they had contacted the show already, and they were trying to rekindle or mend their relationship, not even knowing that they had kind of done this without saying anything. And they haven't spoken to her in 14 years, by the way. So her family has literally zero idea of what mom has done for 14 years. None.
And they think they have it all figured out. They think they know mom like the back of their hand. Mm-hmm. That they are totally connected, know what she's been going through, and they don't. And that's the disassociation between them and mom, and the reality separation between them. They have no idea. It's like you haven't seen somebody since preschool, and you know them so well. Know them, you're like, oh my gosh, I just know everything about you. Like, this is wonderful. Oh my gosh.
I remember you in first grade.
Right, good
You've
times.
Changed.
Oh my gosh, you're so different.
You're so different than you were when you were 6. The fuck?
That's how it is, though.
That's how delusional it is. They haven't known her in almost 15 years. They know nothing about what mom's experienced, what she's had to go through, all the things that she has had to work through and accomplish to get where she is right now. They have no idea. And when mom went on mission, she, like Dr. Phil kind of said, you had a higher calling, and that part is true. She did have a higher calling. She's always spoken to angels, and you can ask Linda, because Linda told her when she was a kid to not tell anyone that she spoke to angels and that she could see the etheric realm. So she tried to shut down mom's gifts. Linda can't lie about that fact, that she did, try to dissuade mom from embracing. I feel there was a lot of fear involved in that spiritual aspect. So by the time that mom started to get all these downloads about who she was and what her mission was, it was around 2006, and that's why her family said she started to act weird. She had always been different. Her family doesn't mention that. They don't mention all of the accomplishments and things that mom had done up until that point in her life that made her very different than others. They didn't talk about those things. So when mom got called on mission, she had always talked to the angels in the etheric realm, and they told her, you have a mission to spread the truth and love, and to tell everyone there is an ascension process going on. There's an evolutionary process happening, and you can either stay with your kids and have your 3 kids, or you can try and save 8 billion. So mom, and you can tell the story about the shower.
Oh yeah. So the vision that, and we've shared this so many times on so many streams throughout the years, the moment that mom had to decide to either stay or go on mission, which Aurora was beginning to explain, of when she was in the shower, she went into a meditative state, and she had a vision, and the angels came to her and said, you have a choice. You can either save your 3 children, and she saw a vision of them standing there, and then they said, or you could save 8 billion. And they showed her a vision of humanity, and she fell to her knees. And in that moment, she surrendered. She said she would do it. And at that time, she was with her youngest son, and he was very young. He was probably around 2 years old, maybe a little bit older. And when mom told him that she was going to go on mission, she didn't want to leave him. She fought the angels for hours on end in a meeting, saying that, can I please bring my son? And they kept saying, no, it's not safe. It's not okay, because right when mom began mission, she was homeless in the forest. Another big piece that nobody wants to talk about. We'll talk about that in a moment, but also just back to that of how he said to mom, go, you're going to do the impossible dream, which many of you have also heard of the reference to mom's son being the reincarnation of Elvis, and she has a lot of documentation and experiences confirming that as well, but we're not going into that right now. But another big piece, a side piece of that all and everything, is that when mom went to mission, she was homeless. This has never been mentioned in any interview, anything we've talked about. We talk about it all the freaking time on live stream. The accomplishments of what mom has done, especially in the beginning of mission, what she's doing now in every moment is beyond what we can understand in this physical reality. We will understand one day. But when mom had to start this mission, nobody would give up everything and just go live in the forest and serve humanity when they want nothing to do with her. And that kind of gets into the next point anyways of the light workers.
Well, I was quickly going to read...
Oh, yes, please read
this letter. And so when Mom's Earth family went on Dr. Phil and pretended like they had no idea what the fuck she was talking about. That is a lie. Okay?
Right.
It is a straight lie. This is an email from Mom's old emails.
And it's early. It's early 2000.
I believe it's early 2008.
Yeah, early 2008.
So Mom went on mission in 2007 is when she finally made that jump. So this email is to Linda early 2008. She also sent it to the rest of her family. So when they say they have no idea what she's talking about, it is a lie. And also, we looked through Mom's old emails, and Linda never responded to this email. Neither did her family.
Yep.
And they never, there was multiple emails Mom had sent to them after this that they never responded to. We got all the receipts, so don't even try and lie, because
we do.
We're ready. Because I'm tired of people lying. I'm tired of her family lying. I'm tired of everybody else lying. We're going to pull all the receipts. You want to go? Let's go. So this is the letter that Mom wrote to her mom. And like we said, this is about early 2008. And she said, Mom, this is to Linda, I understand this message will be challenging for you to read. However, I am going to attempt anyway. I have incarnated this lifetime to bring everyone home back into the light. This is why you have always said that I was up in the clouds, because it is through consciousness in which we achieve this, and you always knew that I would be somewhat of a psychologist. The earth is changing right now, and we are manifesting heaven on earth, or heaven Christ consciousness to bring earth back into the paradise or Eden it once was. Every 6.5 billion of us at that time came into earth for, hence why you said you were an indigo, and you are, the change. Most of us just forgot, except for a select few. I and others have awakened. That is why this lifetime of mine appeared to you so crazy, because I had to awaken and assist through this transition. This is what all the references to the end of the age, or 2012, the end of the world, it really is the end of the world for egos or ignorance. So this is when Mom first started talking about ego, which she got from Wayne Dyer. Thanks, Wayne Dyer. And she said, because one has to release the ego to be the true being, the being in the heart, we have identified what has kept humanity from moving forward into the true light beings that we all are. It is called egos, which society placed on others for manipulation, control, and abuse. These past years, I have been in deep study on the human psyche, and I have well prepared myself for the upliftment of humanity back into full consciousness. The meek will inherit the earth, and in essence, we are all one big family, and I am a part of what they call the first wave. It's a little like Star Trek, but grander. I have initiated into the real heaven, and all who are choosing this. A team of us will be assisting everyone by bringing truthful information through, information that brings the end to destruction, pain, suffering, and death, and ends all negativity. Even if you cannot understand or see this now, hopefully you will one day, and you will be so proud of me. Planet Earth will return back into peace, harmony, joy, and oneness. And yes, kind of like when Jesus was here and had the message of unconditional love, and she was killed for telling the truth. I would be considered Jesus as well, except in this time, ignorance cannot win. True love will take over this planet, and it is time for the age of Aquarius. I am the miracle everyone has been waiting for, an example of pure light, love, and truth. I am a messenger, and although society loves to kill the messenger, not this time. Everyone is a miracle. They have just been asleep in the dream of separation. I am here to reheart everyone of who they truly are. You do not have to worry about my children. They will all be back with me, and that is a guarantee. I and the others cannot save anyone. It is not the point. We can only give the honest truth in which we are sharing freely, because true love is free and unconditional. Remember when I cried at the movie Conversations with God, and when the show Heroes came out? Something was happening to me, and I knew I had a mission and contract to fulfill for the changing times. This has not been easy or a comfortable experience. It took me a lot of work to get here. The only way out is through, and the ego has put everyone in a box. Then the true being comes alive. Okay, this was a lot of information, and as I have said before, I love you deeply. I love humanity deeply. I chose to awaken. I love everyone. We are all God. And so that is the message that she sent to Linda that was never responded to. And she also said, I really wish I could explain what is happening to me, although I'm not sure you could understand at this point. But I am transforming into the new human, and I have entered into Christ consciousness, being the living Christ and basically manifesting heaven on earth. And for years I've attempted to tell you. She said in 2008, for years I've been attempting to tell you. Linda bypasses that. Although I was unsure what was happening to me, this will change history, Mom, forever. There will not be death, disease, isolation, fear any longer, for that was a part of the illusion and separation from God. Only love is real and separation is an illusion. In what is called the new earth, my role is to awaken humanity back into love and being one. For a while, I was not homeless, but in a sense I was. I had no phone or internet. The Light Center, the first of its kind, is being built here in Crestone, the one I'm going to manage to help heal the planet. I have a huge role, bigger than you can see right now. I love all of you very deeply. If you would like to know more, I will share with you. It had to be kind of a secret because it could all be seen as something other than what truly is, especially to ego, which is currently the mask everyone is wearing right now. I just got internet the other day and groceries for the first time. Love you. So as you can see, there was a lot in that message from early 2008 that Linda doesn't speak about and her family doesn't talk about because they know the truth. She sent them this message. She explained to them what was happening, that she had been trying to tell them for years that something was happening to her, and they ignored it. And after that, no response for 14 years until one day they want to go on Dr. Phil.
How about them apples?
How about them apples?
So the next thing is we have the Lightworker video.
Oh, right.
So that's a good one. And this is something that, of course, the energy is what Dr. Phil is taken aback by. And pretty much how Mom speaks and calls out the Lightworker community. So many people have seen the video or you've seen the episode, so we don't have to repeat it. But it really is, what we explain is Mom doesn't have the ego programming. She doesn't know what being angry is. So she's being passionate because she's done 99% of the work for everybody. All of us.
Energetic work, yes.
All the energy
and
work.
Physical work, yes.
She's done majority of it for everybody. It's her contract. It's not to pin people against each other, and that's what people always take Mom as, is that she's trying to be better than them. That's not true. She's trying to teach beings, everybody, of how to be the best they can be and work together in unity and come together for the same purpose and the same truth, because that is what creation experiences in oneness with Mom and Father God. We don't have a choice. This is true reality. Didn't work. Lightworkers didn't listen. They kicked her out of most websites and groups that she was in.
And now they steal her information.
They do. And that's because at this point, if you're not connected to Mom, you have no idea what's going on energetically on the planet. Mom's been saying this for 14 years. She warned everybody this was going to happen. Other light workers talk about it in a different way of explaining that if you're not connected to the Mother God energy, then you are screwed. Yep. That is what we are here to do in these moments, is reattach our energetic cords to the Divine Mother energy, because it's been severed for 27,000 years.
And also you live on Mother Earth, which is a Divine Mother energy. Right. If anyone was not aware, Mother Earth is a feminine planet. So if you're not connected to the Divine Mother energetically,
right,
you are not connected to the planet. You're not connected to the energy. You're not moving with the evolutionary process, period. You're living in separation.
Right. So,
and the Lightworker video, I mean, we try not to laugh because people get really offended by it. But as Mom explained on Dr. Phil, that was a moment where she was very frustrated. And if anyone else was to take a clip of a moment where they were frustrated and play it, she's still in a human vessel. She's more than allowed to be frustrated and upset. It's what she does after that that makes her different than every other person on this planet. Because she gets the energy out and then she moves along. She forgives, she lets go, she moves along. She doesn't hold on to anything. She doesn't whine, she doesn't complain. She moves forward. And that's what she tells us every day. Get it out. If you need to vent it, express it, get it out, but then you better let it go. And you better forgive, and you better get back to your focus. And don't let it make you crumble. Don't let it take your spirit. You keep fighting. You keep going, no matter what. And that is what people don't see. So that frustration is coming from years of light workers kicking her out of everything, denying her while there's many channelers who channel Mother God, but they don't want to acknowledge her.
Right.
And, they think that they're doing all these things, have never acknowledged all the work she's done where they steal all her information. And yeah, she's pissed because she gave those light workers that role. And they failed. They all failed their contracts because they refused to come into unity. If everyone was on the same page and the same mission, yes, Mother Earth, Mother God Ascension, we would already be there. But that is her frustration, is that those were her light workers that were supposed to be in place for this mission, and they weren't. So to answer everyone's question about that, and yes, she calls people whores. A whore is someone who takes energy. That is Mom's definition and use of the word whore. So when people hear and they're like, oh my God, it's someone who steals energy, which is most of you. Everybody does. We all do. It's something we have to actively, consciously transform because we've been taught from a young age how to steal energy through attention, through food, through alcohol, through sex, through whatever. We constantly take energy from other beings and from the planet. So when she says whore, that is what she is referring to. From the Jesus thingy.
Oh, the Jesus thingy. Yeah, so the lifetimes. Everybody gets triggered by the Jesus thingy. Get over it. Get over it. That's all it takes, is just letting go. We don't know. Most people may have flashbacks to a lifetime of that era, whether it's the Jesus lifetime. We were all sharing consciousness. Everyone's picked up little nuggets from that lifetime because it was so important. Because that was when Mom, who was Jesus, again, get over it. It's not a man. You have to transform your mommy issues, your daddy issues, your masculine, feminine wounding, everything, and let it all go and let all religion go. Yay! It's so simple because we don't know anything. And a lot of people have remembrances, but a lot of these memories are fixed because of the religious beliefs that Jesus was a man, and that's not true. So many people can say, yes, they've seen Jesus as a man, but it's also their ego that perceives that, because most people aren't ready to see Jesus as a woman. It's what we've been told for thousands of years, because the Cabal flipped it. They wanted to completely shut out the Divine Mother energy. They wanted nobody to even think that there was a Mother God in existence, that there was only a Father God.
It's all about those masculine, because they've led us down the right path, everybody.
Right, completely omitting the feminine has gotten so well in society. It's 2020, baby, and we are thriving.
Woo! Who's thriving out there under the patriarchy?
Yay!
Let us know.
Awesome. So, this is something that it was new to everybody, finding Mom. It's not just, we weren't sitting there one day being like, Jesus, pretty sure it was a woman,
No.
Some people feel into it, they're like, it doesn't make sense, the way that they portray Jesus, the way that the stories go, the fact that how could a masculine be this loving in these moments 2,000 years ago? We don't know, obviously not, because it was Mom. And she was attempting to bring in Christ consciousness. She wasn't even able to start to remember that she was Mother God. They killed her at 29 years old as Jesus. She did have to go into that lifetime, which many times, and I know the big one that we talk about on the Dr. Phil show is she has the documentation of it, and I've seen so many comments from people being like, what does that mean? She has, did she print something out, like a certificate that says she's Jesus? No, she had to go into that timeline, and this is where we get multidimensional and lose people, because they can't comprehend that we live in a reality that is just not black and white. It is rainbow. There's so many dimensions, universes, so many things happening at once. It's more than what you can think in the mind, period. Right. It's so much is going on.
But she has cases and cases of notebooks,
right,
where she documented her visions, time-stamped them, full visions, full galactic confirmations of these things that would happen in the physical, of people confirming these things. She had a being who she was close with when she was first getting onto mission, and she went to visit this being, I feel it was in Minneapolis. Alicia.
Yes.
In Minneapolis, and this was after for months the angels and the Galactics had been telling her, listen, you were Jesus, you're going to have to go through this timeline and process it and remember it. And she was like, what are you talking about? And so she went to visit this being she had connected with. Her name was Alicia, and she was somewhat of a guide for Mom. And as soon as she got off the plane, she got into this being's car, and there was a photo of Jesus on the floor. And she was like, why do you have this in your car? And she was like, I don't know, I felt guided to put it there. Then she went to her house and she stayed in the guest room, and Alicia was like, yeah, I just redid this wall because I have this big photo of Jesus on there, and about a month ago it just crashed off the wall and shattered. And that was a month ago had been when they had just been telling her, finally that she was Jesus. They were first showing her it. And Mom was like, what is going on here? And this woman ended up telling her a lot of information to confirm exactly who she was.
Right.
And a ton of information. This woman was very spiritually connected and gave her all. And this is just one of thousands of stories that Mom has. Nobody gets to hear them, though. Nobody sees them. But that is the truth. So this is years and years and years of documentation that Mom has detailed stuff. You can't make it up. Nobody's sitting around making this shit up for fun.
Yeah, and also this is completely new to everybody out that is in 3D land, what we call the Matrix, is
the illusionary land of
right.
Nothing.
What you can't bypass is someone's experience. Love is an experience. God is an experience. Waking up to the ascension and what's going on the planet, it's an experience. You experience it, you feel it, you know it to be real, it's undeniable, and it starts with letting everything you thought you knew go. And you can look at Mom's experience of, in that letter to Linda, she references Jesus as a he. And a lot of Mom's early documentation, she only referenced Father God because that's all she knew was ever out there because of 3D land and what they tell everybody.
Yeah.
Mom let that go. And everyone's like, well, it's easy because it was her. So what? Who cares? You know how crazy you have to be and feel and sound internally if the angels are telling you every day that you're Jesus, your mother God, you don't want to believe it. It took her 7 years.
And thousands of things that had to happen to confirm it for her in the physical.
Right.
For her to even accept that.
So it wasn't this big, she popped out of the womb. We say this again so many times all the time. Just popped out of the womb and remembered that she was Mother God. It was a journey like everybody else's that found us. Everybody's life journey that everybody is on in these moments. But Mom remembered first because we are all going to have to remember this is the truth. This is the way. So Mom's just putting it out there. These are all just documentaries, getting ready for everyone to watch them as we move forward in the future, because it's like so crazy. Like humanity is not getting this information. They can't feel it. So
they're so in the mind.
So in the mind. And this is why we have to break everything down. Everybody has to see the truth of it all, of what Mom's going through, and see how this is a mirror for society, the lies, the deception of the media, everything that's going on. We had to go through that experience as a family, even though it was just me and Aurora on the Dr. Phil show. Mom didn't even have the full team to back her up. Mom's taking the heat. Yeah. Everything's getting thrown at her. Nobody can even imagine the amount of it feels like a setup. You can feel it, you know it, you can smell it from a mile away the second the show begins, where they're heading with this. And she barely had any backup to support her. Yeah. And she took this on to start breaking down the Matrix physically and completely by taking on what is going on in 3D land for herself. Meaning the lies of the media, like I just said, the deception, the hatred, the violence,
all of it,
the words, the everything that's coming up, the hatefulness of yourself. If you're in this deep hatred mode, which is your hatred for God, these are all programmings that if you want to ignore, great, it's true reality. We're all going to have to dissolve this. We all had to do it to get here, and everybody's going to have to do it to make their way back to true reality. So, anyways, if you want to add something to that.
No, well, I was going to say the next part's probably the funniest. Not the funniest, it's not funny, but it's interesting. People's high triggers and belief systems around this. And what
a doozy.
And this was the child in the closet and the timeout and the whole spiel. So here's the deal, is that Erin, who is currently on mission with us, brought her originally when she first met Mom or came to Mom back in 2018. She brought her 4 children with her to mom. That was the first time mom had any team members bring children long term. They'd come in and out, but it was something she wasn't sure about because there's a lot involved with not only helping adults transform, but children. So she brought her 4 children because they were highly dysfunctional. And she wanted mom's help. They were undisciplined. They were dysfunctional. They had taken on a lot of lower programmings and energetics, and she wanted to help them get stable and also just be better versions of themselves so that she could be a better mom because she was struggling in knowing what to do with them. Now, for everyone who says that putting a child in the closet for a timeout is abuse, I really wonder what planet you live on sometimes because, and what they didn't show you was that I said to Dr. Phil that it's historical evidence that for hundreds and probably thousands of years, they have physically disciplined children. That was their model. They even still do it in some schools to this day, and there's been many lawsuits about it of whether teachers are allowed to physically discipline children. So as far as physical discipline, that has been an accepted practice for hundreds of years. I'm sure many of you watching were physically disciplined as children, some more extreme than others. Mom does not believe in physical discipline, spanking, any of that. She doesn't believe in that. She doesn't condone it. She doesn't believe that that is the correct way. So for some of you who grew up getting whooped in the ass, I'm confused at how a timeout is abuse. I mean, I'm just going to read you this one woman's comment. This is how crazy they are. She said, "How dare you lock a child in the closet, you sick bitch. I hope Dr. Phil calls the police on you. You need to be in jail, you child-abusing monster." So, you, ma'am, are very triggered. And by the way, her name is Jill Seibert on Facebook. I'm calling everybody's name out these days. And to say something so extreme when mom has she learned with her own children what worked best for them was not to physically discipline them, but to put them in a centered, quiet space. Because when they're acting out, they're screaming, they're throwing tantrums, it means there's some dysfunction happening. They need to calm down. And they can't calm down in a room full of people. And as Hope was there and will tell you, when they would put them in timeout, sit on the stairs, go sit in this corner, they wouldn't listen. They would just get up and run away. They were completely not listening at all. Mm-hmm. And so first of all, it's a walk-in closet, number 1. It's a huge space. Number 2, there's no lock on the closet, so they weren't locked in.
Who has locks on their closets?
Third of all, they went in with an adult every time, including the mother herself. And they only went in for 2 minutes. Now I'm going to read you something from WebMD for all the ego minds who need proof out there. You can see on the top of my browser it says WebMD. On WebMD, it says toddler discipline do's and don'ts. You do remove the child from the situation. You do tell them what the problem behavior is. You do place them in a quiet spot. For young toddlers, this may be an enclosed space. Don't believe me? Enclosed space. Okay. Then it says, do sit down with the child after timeout and reassure them with a hug, and keep them, the usual rule of thumb is 1 minute per year of age. So at that time, he was 2, so he stayed in for 2 minutes. He came out, as you saw, every time he came out of the closet, mom hugged him, tried to calm him down. He repeated the same pattern. So he went back into timeout. So for anybody who is calling mom an abuser, you are delusional, you are sick, and you are highly triggered from your own trauma. Don't project it onto God. And I asked Erin to send us some voice notes to play. Who is the mother of the child in the video, by the way? So, for all the egos out there.
The first time that Mother asked me to take Ondin into the closet, which was the first time that she had suggested that that be done, she asked us to both go in there with the light on and breathe and steady ourselves and calm down. And then we came back out. And this was the blueprint for returning ourselves to center, to joy, to peace, to love.
Thanks, Erin. And so which the clip you didn't see was when I explained that to Dr. Phil to give them context. He came at me and said, I have no idea what I'm talking about how physical discipline is an accepted practice, and completely attempted to power over me, but it didn't quite work. And told me I have no idea what I'm talking about, dismissed my entire explanation, which is perfectly reasonable and true. And they cut that part out. So I say to Dr. Phil, you in fact have no fucking clue what you're talking about. You in fact are a lie and a fraud. And I'll leave it at that. For that portion at least. I've got more to say, but I'll leave it at that for now on the closet timeout.
Okay. There was one piece that they cut what I said out when, what was being said? It was something about mom.
Was she Jesus or something like that?
Something about that, and then I ended up closing out what I said of that we're all aspects of God with God, and that's what mom teaches us, is that we're all aspects of the same source. We're all God.
And they cut that out.
And they cut it out. And mom's sister comes back after I said that, and she goes, I don't believe that.
So she admitted
that she doesn't believe that she's an aspect of God. She doesn't believe that. So, because the ego can't see itself as God. So
they
that
hate
was,
themselves.
Exactly. And then they hate God, because they hate themselves. Get it? See it?
Get it?
There you go. So that was interesting. It was just fascinating to see how they cut things out. I mean, there's definitely more that we just didn't pick up on, but
those were the main things.
Those were the main ones. The good old sleep, the sleep
deprivation.
Oh,
Ashley, we're bringing it in here. Ooh. So Ashley was with us for about 2 months, and the first thing she says on the show was how we were all sleep deprived. She's like, yeah, some days we had to stay up till midnight. I'm sorry. It's like some days we have to stay up till midnight, and then we sleep till 5 a.m. It's total sleep deprivation. I'm like, ma'am, okay. What world are you living in where a 12 to 5 sleeping schedule is sleep deprivation and abuse? The most successful people in the world actually sleep less than that. They sleep 2 to 3 hours a night, which isn't the point, but it's an observation that those who seek they have a mission and a purpose, they are going to spend more hours of their day dedicated to that purpose rather than wasting half their day sleeping. And like Mom said on the show, we all take naps. And everyone on the team was laughing when they saw that because they all know how much we nap.
And we do get plenty of sleep. If you feel in your heart 12 to 5 is sleep deprivation, and you really can't feel into how the cabal have made humanity lazy by now telling people, I remember the last when I was out in 3D land, they were saying to start sleeping 10 to 12 hours a day. That's half your day. They want you sleeping. I remember
an article that said smarter people sleep more. So they were like trying to encourage people to sleep more.
That's what they do, though, and that's what people don't see is, yeah, of course your ego's going to want to sleep more, but you're wasting energy. Humanity is so beyond lazy. Some girl commented on it. I wish I took a screenshot of it, but anyways, her final rebuttal was, she was like, you guys are just lazy. And I was like,
yeah,
we run a business, we have sessions, we have a website, we do all these other things in physical service. We're pretty much serving the collective 24/7, especially mom all the fucking time. Oh, I was like, oh, should I swear? And I was like, well, wait, no, I'm not on.
Yeah, we're not on live stream, so fuck them.
Yeah, we're on live stream and we're not on, fucking Cabal News Network.
Yeah, I mean, and as Mom said, it's energetic. She's like, many beings don't use their sleep consciously and purposefully. And sleep 5 hours a night is what Mom recommends for us. She's like, for 5 hours, you get full rest. And then you are also able to dedicate all the moments you want into all the things that you guys want to do.
Right.
We have so many ideas. We have so many projects going on. We have so much on our plate. And we aspire to be great. We aspire to do whatever it is we love to do, and Mom encourages all of that. She's like, you got a project idea, go for it. You want to do this, go for it. Whatever you want to do, whatever your dreams are, go do it. But she wants us to work hard for it. And we love it. And if you wake up every day inspired because you have a mission and you have a purpose and you're living for something, you don't want to lay down and go to sleep for 10 hours.
Right.
Because by the time you die, you've slept for 20 to 30% of your entire life has been wasted sleeping. What did you do, though? What did you do? You didn't do anything. And people lie on their deathbed and think of all the things they could have done and all the things they could have accomplished, and they didn't because they were lazy and they were complacent and they had belief systems. And we don't subscribe to them. And like I said, ask anybody on the team. They get plenty of sleep. Plenty of naps, plenty of sleep. But for energetic purposes, we have to keep our thing running. You know, we have 6 a.m. live streams, we have 1 p.m. live streams, 4 p.m. live streams. We've got 24-hour-a-day sessions because we have sessions with people all over the planet, and we have to be able to accommodate their time zones as well. So, you know, get over it, Ashley. And Ashley's also a liar. For many reasons. Go for that one.
The first thing is that they mention our money without even talking to us.
I was like, bitch, where?
I was like, okay, well,
where?
They were saying, or excuse me, Ashley was saying, she's like, okay, well, I heard, or I don't even know what she was freaking saying.
I don't know what she was saying either.
She was like, yeah, one account has $400,000. We wish.
I was like, where's the money at?
You guys want to see our bank records? We'll happily show you our bank statements. I mean, we are fully transparent. What do we have to hide? We don't have this much money. We don't. And then
another exist.
And then another account has $100,000, and we were like, oh, that's nice, $500,000. Where is it? And I was like, okay, that's cool. That's fine.
Like, I love fake money.
Okay, you want to lie? You don't know. If you don't see the bank accounts, we'll happily show everybody. Fully transparent. We'll do it. Anyways, and then what was the other thing? That she fled quickly.
For her life.
Hilarion drove her to the airport. We were well aware she was leaving. We just didn't know. She told us that she was going to come back, which she'll say that it was for her safety. I mean, we don't care. You either come back or you don't. Most of the time when people leave, first of all, Mom doesn't care. If you want to leave, go ahead. You can ask other team members that recently just came and have been with us, and then they've just gone home when they would like to go home. They got their experience and they went back. So who cares? So anyways, she said she was leaving for a different purpose.
She said she was leaving because she comes from Jehovah's Witness family, and they have deep religious programming, and she has issues with the father of her child, and she was afraid that the father of her child was going to try and take away her child, who was currently living with her husband while she was visiting in Colorado. That is why she started spinning, and she felt that she needed to go home. And she said, I'm going to go home. I want to get my son, and I want to come back and, you know, get my own place maybe nearby or something. We're like, okay, whatever. We were like, just let Mom know so she can, you know, arrange for whatever you need to do. She refused to tell Mom out of fear for whatever reason. Again, Mom doesn't care. Go ahead, leave. Doesn't matter to us. And so that morning, she didn't take any of her stuff because she said she was coming back. She had plenty of moments to take whatever the hell she wants.
She took a lot of her stuff. She had a guitar, she took that, and she had a suitcase of clothes. Did she leave stuff behind? Yes. But the day that she walked out that door, we've never heard from her. Yeah. So if she wanted her stuff back, we've had team members message their families coming to pick up their stuff. Great, okay, take it back. And we would have happily done that for her, but we didn't hear from her. So we were like, okay, cool.
And someone running from their life, I mean, she asked us to drive her to the airport, which was a 4-hour trip.
Okay.
Which we did.
Cool.
So if you were so in fear for your life, you even wanted to ride in the car with us to the airport. I mean, how fucking bizarre can you be? And Ashley knows she's a liar. She knows she's a liar. She knows that she is guilty of lying and slander and spinning. And so is Mom's whole family, which is why they're on the live stream now, spinning. So shout out to you guys. Because you guys attacked Mom, your family, on live television, knowing full well the truth of all of this.
Right.
The truth of who Mom is, that she's been telling you for 15 years plus.
Right.
Of her spiritual experiences. You've witnessed the miracles that she has done. Don't lie and say that you haven't.
It's not new news.
One thing was about the surgeries Dr. Phil brought up, and Mom does do etheric surgery. She's been doing them for many years. She started doing sessions back in 2007. She's been doing them since then. Sometimes Mom would do up to 20 sessions a day on her own. So when he was like, oh, well, that's a lot of sessions. Well, yeah, because she worked hard. She wasn't lazy. She wasn't doing a couple phone calls a day. She was doing one every hour. Mom doesn't sleep. She's never slept since she was a baby. Ask Linda, ask her whole family. She never was a sleeper. She had a lot of energy, and she didn't like to sleep. Right. She would sleep a little bit, and that would be it. She's been like that since she was a kid. So with the surgeries, we have thousands of testimonials on our website of real people who did surgeries with Mom, sessions with Mom, and had miraculous results. They failed to mention that on Dr. Phil. Actually, they refused to mention it because we sent them about 30 different testimonials, just ones that we felt were good, and didn't use a single one. We shared how we've done hundreds, probably over 1,000 sessions by now on our own with beings who have done surgeries with Mom, and we've heard the firsthand experiences of what they have felt. He bypassed that as well.
Yeah, and that was pretty much, I know that's more of the,
I did that. Oh, Larry.
Oh, yeah, they did. Oh, yeah, that was the last thing. Yeah, they did use this video of Hilarion and Father's filming him and in Hawaii. To us, we find it hilarious, ironically. But he shows it, and he's like, is this sleep deprivation? Does this look like it? And Ashley's like, yep. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you definitely know what sleep deprivation looks like. And it was a funny video that Father was taking, first of all. It's funny to us. Everybody else gets triggered by it, clearly. And this guy was sleeping for over 12 hours a day when he was with Mom in those moments. And you can ask Tim. He was there. He saw it. He witnessed it. And you can talk to Mom and Father, who also witnessed it and were experiencing it.
He would knock out constantly.
Right. So
that's why this is so funny.
That's why it's funny. He was down the entire night while they stayed up pushing energy, which Mom tries to explain on the Dr. Phil show. It doesn't fly because they don't get energy. And sometimes Mom doesn't have to sleep. She's moving so much planetary energy, which nobody knows what that's like because she is Mother Earth. We are not. So she knows what it feels like to move planetary energy. We have no idea. Yep. So we can't understand her experience or try to figure it out in the mind. Not possible. So as Mom's moving all this energy, for him to be sleeping through most of it and just not supporting, it's not fair. So, because if you're sleeping, and if you're in an unconscious state, which most of the time he is, it's taking energy. And people that know energy know what that feels like, and Mom knows that the most because everybody's constantly taking her energy.
Anyone who's empathic, anybody who
knows what that's like,
is in touch spiritually, you know what it's like when your energy is getting sucked from. And that's often what happens because people, they're not harnessing the energy to push it in a positive way. You're not creating anything. You're not working towards anything. You're just laying around. And that is sucking energy because you'll notice if you're in a room full of people just laying around, you feel tired. If you're in a room full of people who are all excited and enjoy and creating things and working towards something, you're filled with life. You're filled with energy. That is the difference. That's why many of you are drained. Because you're around draining people. You're draining yourself. So there was a lot in that Dr. Phil video. And there's more tomorrow that we're excited to address because these have been like the number one things over and over and over. So we are excited to address that. But we will talk a little bit about Hawaii because I'm sure a lot of people think they know what happened in Hawaii. So to set the record straight, is that Mom and Father and Larry landed in Hawaii back on July 22nd. They completed their 2-week quarantine and then they moved to a vacation home. The whole purpose of going there was the Galactics guided her to go to Hawaii so she could heal, so she could be in peace and that there was energy there that was going to assist her in healing that was better for her than in Colorado. So that is why she went there. She never left the house. Larry only went to the grocery store and back. They never bothered anybody. They stayed there peacefully for over a month at that house, and no one even knew that they were there. Mom was just there to heal, move energy, do whatever the angels guided her to do energetically for herself and for the planet. Now, when she asked the rest of us to come, not only to visit her, but to assist her, because she is paralyzed and she does need a lot of care, we were in quarantine for about a week. And then we don't know what the fuck happened. Somehow, some way, the trolls from the mainland, this is what they do. They want to, per the usual, they want to make everyone's lives miserable because theirs are, and they want to attack. So they were calling the cops, saying we were violating quarantine, which we weren't. And by the way, the cops came and checked on us 9 times. And every time, guess what happened? We were in compliance, baby, because we didn't break the rules, motherfuckers. So they kept calling and causing all these issues, and that's when the infamous live stream that Hope and I did started the whole thing, because somehow then locals found out that we were here. I don't know if the trolls instigated things saying that we were doing something wrong. I don't know what the deal was, but the live stream where Hope and I gave a big fuck you to the trolls, and then all the locals went nuts as if we were referring to them, and we weren't. You weren't even in our reality at that moment. So between September 4th and September 7th, it was an absolute shit show. Mm-hmm. The locals were using the exposed page to basically gather themselves into some sort of riot, burn, loot, murder grouping. They were spreading all these false things, and then Alan Panchard, something like that, of the Civil Beat in Hawaii, put up a photo of Mom's house that she was staying at, which gave away her location. So he not only compromised her safety, but compromised the home, which, by the way, the owner is David Bancroft, and he is also a liar and a stealer, and I'll get into him in a moment. But, what happened after that was simply appalling. It was also illegal and just atrocious on a human level. And for everyone out there that thinks they know something, let me tell you something. I spent many years in law school. I spent years practicing as a lawyer. All of this is illegal. Many of you on the island of Kauai could and should have been arrested, 1,000%. And if any constitutional or civil rights lawyers are interested, contact us, because it is a very clear and cut issue. So after that, they gathered in their burn, loot, murder group, and they proceeded to go down to Mom's house. Now, what happened on the 5th was the first night, I believe it was the first night that they rioted. They gathered around Mom's house. They were screaming for about 8 hours through the night.
Honking their horns. They were throwing rocks through the windows. They smashed about every single window on the exterior of the home. They were burning logs and throwing them at the house and onto the decks. They threw the patio furniture through the window. They were throwing little fireworks through the windows. They also vandalized and smashed our vehicle that we had just purchased. It was less than a month old. They were extremely either intoxicated or something, but I will show you the photos so that everybody gets an idea of what we're working with here. So, and for everyone who said that we vandalized our own car, you're absolutely retarded. Yeah, right.
What did we gain from that?
Or the house.
Yeah, or the house. Why?
We got audio of it anyways.
Yeah. So this is a photo of the car completely smashed. The back window and just about every window on the side of the vehicle. You can also see the doors there, completely trashed. And I'm going to play you a video of some of the protesters, burn, loot, murder rioters, who were literally angry about nothing. Mom didn't do anything to them. She was simply existing in her home peacefully. We were existing peacefully in quarantine, and they thought we were such a problem. We were doing so many horrible things, such a cult, but yet, guess who acted like a cult? The island of Kauai. Guess who participated? The government of Kauai, which is a whole nother story. But Here's some witch videos of literal barbarian witches. Listen to this screaming. It sounds psychotic.
It's like the sound of nightmares.
That's what nightmares are made of.
That's true.
Now, this one is another one that Ricky got, which is fucking hilarious. But this is what it looks like when people do voodoo and black magic shit. This is her right here.
She's a very strange lady. Maybe she needs some psychological help. She's looks like a danger to society.
Don't do drugs, kids.
That was my commentary, but and then this is a video of them throwing rocks at the house, outside the house, and breaking the windows. That's one of many videos, but I don't want to take up too much time with it. But these are criminals. Burn, loot, murder criminals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you don't like something, don't listen to it. Move along. You don't get to go and vandalize a local's home, by the way. They vandalize their own people's home. And attacking like that as barbarians. Literally barbarians.
Yep.
The lowest form on the evolutionary scale possible. And this is an audio of, it sounds very demonic when you listen to it. And it's them actually physically trying to break into the home and harm them. Not sure.
I don't think that's it.
I don't know what that is. That's them throwing things at the windows. That's them vandalizing the car outside. Now they're trying to break in the house.
Children, get up here. Get back, I'm gonna get you in there.
They're breaking in the window to break into the house. They had to put boards up in the windows. They sound like cavemen, first of all. They sound
Demonic.
like in a zombie apocalypse movie.
Yes.
They have no conscious awareness of anything whatsoever, just making noises. Like I said, cavemen.
Screaming.
Breaking the window. They had to cover it up with boards or stuff in the house just to stop them. They had broken the windows trying to get in because they couldn't get through the door, and they had to block the windows. And obviously we've heard mom's side, father's side, and Tim, Ricky, and Stacy, who are also there. I mean, what they were describing was horrible, and it was a nightmare in that anybody that's on the internet, there's so many pages, the trolls, the usual, the blah, 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 I think I know something. If you sit there and say that this was peaceful, you are a liar. It was not peaceful.
You are a liar and you were complicit.
And whether these people, it does sound like they were drinking, which somebody else in the comments does talk about in one of the articles. They're like, I know that they were drinking. I was there. So whatever, totally in alignment, doing that intoxicated and thinking that you have it all figured out and you're trying to break and enter on a private property, by
And
the way.
basically kill them.
Yes. I mean, does that sound like somebody that was going to negotiate, or is that somebody that was going to kill God and murder the team? That's what it sounds like to me.
We also had at least 50 screenshots
Of
of
death
death threats, direct death threats. They were giving out our hotel room numbers,
Yep.
saying they were going to come there and shoot us. And we said, go for it. Bring
Sure.
it. Whatever. So they were threatening our lives in many ways, on many different platforms.
They're
and
not
that,
peaceful.
And that was their intention. So they were not peaceful.
And we also know somebody
Yes.
that did move to Kauai. I will not obviously say his name. And he moved there years ago. And he told me after this whole event that he absolutely does not like the people of Kauai, that he actually got put in the hospital by 3 locals when he first moved there because they are racist against white people, and they'll love to project that onto us. They are the racist ones. They beat up this being because he was white and moved to the area, put him in a hospital, and he said after that it was just so miserable that now he no longer really lives on the island because it's so horrible and the people are so bad that he spends most of his time in another location and rents that out. So it was very fascinating to hear that. Obviously, after everything, these people are not peaceful. There's many people in the comments saying that this is common for this area of Kauai to
Even
do
had
these
the
things.
police officer tell us.
The police officer that we talked to told us he went through the same thing till he became a cop. He was harassed. He was called names and all these different things until he became a police officer in the area. So this area, I guess, has been known to do these things, that they push people out, that they are racist, that they don't like outsiders. It's apparently, a very open thing that many people are aware of. Great, that's fine. But you can just see the low consciousness from this all. And we saw it when we saw a woman outside our window screaming about her children, and she didn't want us to take her children. We're like, what are you talking about? We don't want your children, first of all. Second of all,
what are you talking about?
You guys believe we're a satanic cult. That's funny. And you can just see the years and the thousands of years of trauma that these people have gone through. Don't take my kids. I don't want them to take my kids. It's not even, what they're saying doesn't even make any sense.
They're
Logically,
so traumatized.
they are so traumatized, and somebody has to process it for their family, for that energetic something. So they're just spewing everything. And we warned everybody months and months on stream, this is what it's going to look like. We saw it firsthand. Mom saw it. The worst, of course, they were completely projecting on her outside her house, screaming into the night all day for multiple days.
And by the way, this was 2 nights in a row, and the police, we send love to the police. They were very nice, and many of them were very, very helpful, very, very sweet beings, and we appreciate those. But as a whole, they did nothing to stop it. They would disperse the burn, loot, murder people, and then they would just come right back and start doing it again on a more violent scale. They weren't taking any action to correct it. Even with all the evidence we had, tons of videos showing people throwing rocks, trying to break into the house, the audios, the photos, all of it, they still didn't make any arrests. And I found it fascinating because when I started doing some research, there's actually an entire book written about the corruption of the Kauai Police Department. The chief of their own police department, I'm pretty sure, was indicted or was sued, and how corrupt the entire police department there actually is. So this island is filled with corruption. It's filled with hate. It's filled with all the things they tried to project onto us and onto mom, of course. They also tried to project that she's a meth head. People love to say that. She has not done drugs ever. Even when she was younger, she never did drugs. Like,
she's not dumb.
She's not retarded. And we, as a group, have rules. We don't do drugs. We are not allowed to do drugs. It's not something that mom will even allow in her presence, on mission, anything. And so I just found it funny then when I did some further research that last year a council member of the Kauai Island was indicted for running a meth ring.
Ooh!
With a cartel.
And they're well aware of the issues on the island, and they just want to project. They want to make it look like it's the outsiders that are the problem. No, it's their own. And this is something else that we noticed when Mom first got there. We were not there yet, but right after Mom got there, on the island, they closed down a beach. Why? Because the locals were going there at night and leaving trash. They were drinking. They were leaving bottles, all this litter on the beach. And wherever they were taking their trucks, they were driving on land that had plants that are sacred or that they're very uncommon on the island. They didn't care about protecting the land, the plants there, and the landscape, nothing. They just drove, and it created issues. And that wasn't tourists. That wasn't people visiting the island. That was the locals that did that and got their own beach shut down. So it's this constant projection, which is what a lot of beings are now doing in this lower consciousness. We see it all the time with the Bernlute murder people. This is what they're doing, is they're projecting it. You can see it with people supporting Trump and those that, do not support the Black Lives Matter movement because they are just filled with hate. Right. And that's what these people are filled with as well.
And by the way, we don't give a shit about the politics of it.
No, we don't.
But we're giving you that consciousness example
of what Mom went through, what the collective is doing on a larger scale, and why this had to happen. Yes. Because Mom has to transform it for the collective. Everything that's going to happen with Dr. Phil, we've told everybody that's been watching the streams leading up to this point, we knew it had to happen. Full disclosure, trusting Mom and getting her message out there. It doesn't matter how it looks. We knew for the longest time, everybody said it on many, many streams of the Rainbow Warrior prophecy, that we will be the most hated people on the planet. And even after disclosure, we will be even more hated by the collective.
Because they will blame, like they're doing now.
That's what's going on. We're seeing it.
They're blaming God. They're hating God. They're blaming us. Why? Because they're not evolutionizing. They don't understand what is happening on a planetary level. You cannot understand planetary evolution in
your
the
reptilian
mind.
Brain.
You have to know it in here. And this was a perfect example. This whole Hawaii experience, gave us the example of that. We just have to stay strong in it. We don't care what their actions showed who's really the cult. I'm pretty sure it's the cult of Kauai.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people who know that that's true. So yeah, that was all of the corruption and the fuckery that went on that island. And even the owner of the home, who we had, paid in full, we did not do anything wrong. Mom didn't do anything wrong. She was just sitting in her house peaceful, and people were, trying to kill her. And he was trying to kick them out through this whole process. And I said to him, they have nowhere to go. They're not safe at this moment. If anything, you should be the one speaking to the police and, to the mayor, whoever you need to talk to protect your home. And I hope, and he definitely has insurance. And his home was vandalized by these locals. Now, David Bancroft, don't Airbnb with him. Why? Because he does not care about human life. He didn't give a shit if they got murdered as soon as they walked out the doors. He just cared about his home, which I understand. However, his home was clearly vandalized by locals. He clearly could have gotten insurance money or something to pay for it because it was not his fault. It was not our fault. It was not Mom's fault. It was these locals' faults. Now, what he did was, instead of hold his own community responsible, tried to hold us responsible. And even said in his text to us, I will fully refund you. Like, I just want to have you guys safe and the property safe. He reneged on that promise and then even tried to come after us for the money as if we did something.
Right.
So David, you're a whore, and you will get your karma. 100%, honey. It's coming. All of you will. The island of Kauai, you will get your karma. Because not only what you did was just on a humanitarian level incorrect, but legally incorrect. Your whole island is corrupt. Your whole island is living in darkness. And it will be exposed. 100%. And you all are criminals.
It's true.
Point blank. You try to project it onto us. You are criminals. Each and every one of you. Because even the ones who didn't participate, the other ones are complicit. Now, they don't represent the whole island of Kauai. There were many lovely beings there. But this particular area of Kauai is where this deep hatred was really from. So to the rest of the beings on Kauai who are very lovely, we love you very much.
We love you.
And you don't they don't represent
Right.
the whole. But this will come out, and it was a First Amendment violation of the Constitution, period. We have free speech. We're allowed to do whatever we want on our own platform. They came onto our platform, attacked Mom on her own website, attacked us on our own live streams, and then burned, looted, and murdered, and blamed us for it. And no responsibility to these beings who did that. We're allowed free speech. Now, the island of Kauai basically forced us to leave because they could not contain their own citizens. Why? Because they won't make them take responsibility. They are enabling their dysfunction.
And their entitlement.
And their entitlement, which is why that part of the island is fucked.
They're entitled.
Very entitled. So if you can't make your citizens take responsibility for their actions, you will end up with this dysfunction and this chaos. You will end up with a city council member running a meth ring. You will end up with a book on the corruption of your police department. You will end up with beings indicted because you are not being in integrity. So we will take legal action however we need to. There's plenty of lawyers out there, any constitutional lawyers, civil rights lawyers, anybody who feels interested in the case, because it is actually a pretty cut and dry case of what the island of Kauai did. And this is a common thing. Now, there also are videos of the protesters outside screaming, "You're not in America! This is the Kingdom of Hawaii!" Newsflash, you are in America. And it is not the Kingdom of Hawaii. So please enter reality and take responsibility for your actions as a human being. You don't get to be a barbarian. This isn't the cave age. Evolve or leave the planet. Period. If you can't evolve, bye-bye. Bye. And we say that, and people are like, "Oh, you're so mean." And it's like, we love everybody. We love you enough to tell you the truth that you are not well. And nobody else is telling you that. Everybody else is enabling your behavior to be the worst version of yourself.
Yep.
And we won't do that because it doesn't serve anybody. And everybody has the opportunity to evolve, to be love, to stand in truth. And I hope what everybody saw today on that first episode of Dr. Phil, no matter what your mind and your belief systems tried to convince you of, I hope this gave you clarity on a lot of the full truth and the background story. And then watch Mom in that episode, and she is in full grace, in full integrity. She smiles, she answers the questions, and she moves along because she's not there to prove anything, argue with anyone. She speaks her truth. She stands in integrity, even with her own family attacking her, who knows the truth. And we will do the same, but we will be calling out anyone and everybody who lies.
Yay!
Anybody who's lied, anybody who's committed slander, anybody who has come after Mom or the team out of integrity, we will be calling you out. We will be showing your text messages. We will be showing the receipts. We will be giving the details. So anybody who has lied and slandered on God, get ready, because it's about time that the truth comes out about you. And we are not going to stand for it anymore. There's only so much we can let it go and move along. At this point, there's got to be some truth for everybody to understand. And so we hope that you guys do understand and see the truth. And we're always here to answer questions.
We love you.
We love you, and we love you, Mom.
We love you, Mama.
We love you, humanity. I pray you get it together. And we will do another
Part 2
video tomorrow, Part 2. So we will see you guys then. We love you.
Love you.